Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for bearing with us patiently. We're all set to commence now. And so, with a great round of applause and immense pleasure, may I ask you to put your hands together as I kickstart this grand summit, which is Dun & Bradstreet's BFSI and FinTech Summit 2023. Please put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Frazier Martins, and I'm your host for today. So sit back and enjoy this thought-provoking and interesting experience at Dun & Bradstreet's BFSI and FinTech Summit 2023. Dun & Bradstreet is a leading global provider of B2B data, insights, and AI-driven platforms. We've been conducting this summit every year for the last 14 years to acknowledge the growing importance of the BFSI and FinTech sector and its relevance to the Indian economy. The BFSI and FinTech sector is the nerve center of all economic activities in our country. The sector has been playing a crucial role in driving growth of the Indian economy. The BFSI sector has played a pivotal role in capital and job creation, driving investments, fostering innovation, and spearheading ESG practices. The domestic fintech industry is also one of the fastest growing sectors globally. Over the last few years, the industry has seen a massive growth on the back of technological advancements, innovation, and entrepreneurial spirit. According to official estimates, at the end of July 2022, there are 23 fintech companies with unicorn status. To achieve the set targets of $5 trillion economy in the coming years, we need to have equitable, sustainable, and inclusive growth. It must benefit all strata of the society, particularly those that have been underserved or excluded from traditional financial systems. Therefore, the theme of today's summit is very aptly called Reshaping for Balanced Growth. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel privileged to be a part of such an inspiring and path-breaking summit. Our heartfelt gratitude to all our summit partners. Please put your hands together for our digital transformation partner, Iron Mountain India Private Limited. Our general insurance partner, the New India Assurance Company Limited. Give them a big hand as well. Our co-partners, Inspira Enterprise India Limited and Aadhar Housing Finance Limited. Our branding partners, NovoPay Solutions Private Limited, Union Bank of India, SIDBI, and Adobe India. And our supporting partner, General Insurance Corporation of India. Thank you. So before we go ahead, may I gently remind our guests once again that we would appreciate if you shared your experiences, opinions, and views about today's summit on your social media handles. And please don't forget to tag your posts with the hashtags BFSI FinTech Summit 2023. Let's get started then with the first session of the day, which is an introductory note on the overview of the Indian BFSI and FinTech sector. May I call upon a gentleman who really needs no introduction, Dr. Arun Singh, Global Chief Economist, Dun & Bradstreet, to share his views and thoughts on the topic. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Arun Singh, please put your hands together for him.
Thank you, Fraser. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Thank you. So we have a full action-packed day today, and I'm expecting same energy throughout the day. And don't worry, I'll have another presentation in the evening to check the energy level, and we'll ensure that we'll keep energy very high. And thanks, Fraser, for the introduction. I don't know how many of you know, but he said that I don't need any introduction, but certainly I need introduction. And it's always, slightly concerned speaking at a second after the Fraser. You already said the context about the BFSI. We all spoke the truth. And I don't know how much of difference I'll bring in here. So let's start with this one. And I'm looking forward for all the insights which we bring in this room. See? Technology glitch? Yeah, got it. All of a sudden, some jumped on the third slide. Sorry, I have to run through the first slide as well. So let's start with the overview of the Indian BFSI and the fintech sector, and just picking on what Mr. Fraser have said. I think this sector certainly needs no introduction. Last 10 years, we have shown the muscle power. We have shown the what we call the growth any sector can drive, the growth any sector can show to the overall economy is basically what these sectors have shown to the, not just in India, also abroad. In fact, in 2002, when we talk about mission mode project, with 2014 when we introduced Digital India initiative, there's various mission mode projects set up by the government of India. 44, most of you might be recall. There's only one, in fact two, was a successful mission mode project within the Digital India. One was, of course, the financial inclusion after what you call Passport Seva. And let's start with some of the fact that the BFI sector is a center stage of overall economic development. It's not just provide fund to the masses, its ability to mobilize funds and allocate capital if benefit of the bank, or benefit of the BFSI sector are not basically part of the financial inclusion. That's the potential we have, and that's the last 10-year growth we have shown to the masses. Now, why I'm saying that there is a growth, today when I look at the data being generated at the sector-wise, bank is leading the pack. 533,000 crores of, you can say, installed gigabytes per revenue. That's basically the bank generate. That's a huge opportunity the bank generate in terms of the data, what they can do, what they have not touched previously. In the absence of the data, no insight on their consumer, no insight about the companies, what they're doing, whether their credit history is good, not good. Banks can basically partner with analytics companies to derive those insights on the, on the prospects, on the client, which unfortunately was not served in the absence of the data previously, which means there's a huge opportunity for some of the sectors to partner with analytics company to derive those insights and reach out to them and serve them better. That's, imagine that 95% of the target, which basically can be achieved and can be achieved profitably. Moving on, the second piece, what the BFSI sector, ideally can help themselves or partner with the fintech. I think last 10 years, along with the BFSI sector, the fintech has basically accelerated the growth of the financial inclusion, reaching out to the masses, reaching out to the unbanked population where no one have heard about the villages. They're still talking about the contractless, or they're basically the what you call physical-less transaction. That's what they're doing. That's all because of the fintech sectors. There's a potential, in fact, the fintech offer to create those economic growth by reaching out to the masses, by creating a new business opportunities, you're changing the business model of the businesses, and of course, serving the unserved market. The sum of the statistics is already there, which talks about the potential of the fintech and where the fintech have reached in last 10 years. Number two, globally deal value in the fintech, India. Number third, globally number of fintech startups. And of course, number third, in terms of the fintech fintech market globally. And then fourth, number of unicorn strength. I know Mr. Fraser was talking about unicorn, but that's a piece fintech offer to the BFSI sector, and both has to grow together in order to reach out to the masses, in order to make the economy more inclusive growth and equitable growth story. Now, when we talk about the public digital infrastructure, I think India has developed very strong ecosystem of the public digital infrastructure, which all of you are aware about, and that basically India is trying to support democratization of the financial services and reach out to the everyone. And India, as against other global counterpart, the well-placed. When I talk about there are multiple intervention we have, I think we all are aware about eKYC, e-signs, video KYC, Aadhaar, and then of course from the presence layers, today we are talking about the consent layer. If I have to talk about some of the examples, so when I say e-sign and digit locker have just enabled the paperless contract. When I talk about UPI, that's basically enabling the what you call the transaction, and then OKIN, and basically promoting this credit enablement in the economy. This is the base, basically, we are setting. This is the base country setting. This is the base FinTech and BFSI together setting for the growth. Now, if I have to take an example of how this works, you all aware, I'm just trying to give us some context. One day, one farmer raised up and talking about taking a loan for 1 day, just 1 day. In the informal market, he goes, which basically paying something around 1% per day, which is 20%, 20 times higher than what he getting in the formal market. Now he log into one app, raise a request for 1 day loan. The account aggregator collects the information, request for the information, consent to share with the lender. Lender bid, he accept the offer, he take the loan for 1 day, and they got the daily wages, end of the day, repay the loan. Everyone got the benefit of this one, from the farmer to the lender to aggregator to information consent provider, and then of course there are other information network. What has happened here, that every activity of the consumer, there is a solution provider. And there's a solution. That's basically enabling to reach out to the masses who doesn't understand what's going on. That's the potential, that's the benefit this sectors offer. Now moving on, there's another piece we talk about the data standardization and data information sharing. And India have reached that stage which looks far better than the UK, US, and EU. When I talk about the standardization process of the data sharing we have created in India, and the potential we can generate, that's close to 60 to 70% of this ecosystem, as against just 30 to 40% in the UK, and less than 10% in the Europe and US, which means look at the opportunity India offers through the data standardization process. If I have to talk about some of the examples, how that will help, and that's helping. Credit history. 20% of the thin line can become thick when we use the alternate data. 5% increase in the predictive power of the default rate. Of course, anyways, most of us take very high when it comes to the default, but it's 5% improvement over and above when we use this analytics, predictive analytics basically. When I talk about operational efficiency, 99% of the reduction in the verification cost. It used to take $23 earlier. Now it's almost zero, $0.15. That's basically the cost reduction we have seen. And the credit disbursement, 130 basis point increase in credit to GDP ratio. That's exactly the point what I was trying to talk about earlier. When we're planning to make a 30 trillion economy, someone has to fund. The credit has to be made available to the productive sector of the economy. And that's this sector talks about. And as a result of that, boost to GDP, 4 to 5% of the GDP boost. That's basically the sector has to offer. You know, the basic things, the credit milega India ko, tabhi na aage badhega India. That's basically, with that, I'll close my presentation. Thank you for listening, and I'm looking for the powerful and valuable insight throughout the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Singh, for the insightful perspective on the overview of the Indian BFSI and FinTech industry. Indeed, a very interesting talk that. It was a pleasure listening to you as always.